Good day to all of you. Earlier on, I had already discussed with you all the background of the ode on a Grecian urn. And to continue, we will see in the poem how Keats has focused on art, beauty, truth, and time. And this is one of Keats's best examples of romantic poetry and one of the finest of the four poems or the four odes that he has written. Now, this ode is an example of ekphrasis. EKPHRASIS. Ekphrasis is a Greek word which means to describe a work of visual art in words. Now, this urn is a sculpted work of art which was seen in the museum by Keats, and ekphrasis is applied or is a literary form where it kind of makes the audience or the viewer envision what the sculptor is trying to say through that work of art. So it describes a work of visual art in words. Now, what makes Ode to a Grecian Urn of particular importance is its exploration of the idea that beautiful art transcends time and reality, that beauty is truth interpreted through the poetic imagination. But this ode also raises the perplexing question of art and its effect on the human psyche. Humans can be deceived because art, although it is very enduring and permanent, could be a false ideal like the notion of eternity. In the end, the narrative, the speaker's approach to the urn, and how the urn voices its wisdom to the speaker in the form of that very famous line, beauty is truth and truth, beauty, is talked about by Keats, who believed that spontaneous sensations of the heart held the truth as opposed to the dry reasoning of the mind. Now, in a letter to a friend by the name of Benjamin Bailey on 22nd November 1817, he wrote, I quote, "What the imagination seizes as beauty must be truth, whether it existed before or not. For I have the same idea of all our passions as of love. They are all in their sublime, creative of essential beauty." Unquote. So it is important to note that Keats likened the poetic imagination to a religious edifice. In another letter to fellow poet Shelley, he wrote, "My imagination is a monastery and I am its monk." This metaphorical approach to the artistic life of the imagination helped Keats to create some of the best romantic poems of his time. And in his letters to his various friends, he also developed ideas relating to the role of the poet. Keats also kind of came up with a very famous term, negative capability, whereby the poet's character is completely absent from the poem's content. And in one of his letters to his brothers, he had explained, and I quote, he had written over there, "I mean negative capability, that is when man is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, doubts, without any irritable reaching after fact and reason." Unquote. Some scholars think that this means that the poet has to be very receptive, passive, which allows the imagination to do the work of the heart, transforming the initial feelings into poetry. And this is what John Keats actually lived for. That is, to escape the confines of barren reality by trusting in the sensations of his heart, letting go of the self and becoming a receptor, guided by passion and spontaneous feelings. And of course, he had to discipline himself and form a coherent poem out of those initial stirrings. Now, Ode on a Grecian Urn was inspired by numerous visits of Keats to the British Museum in London. And there he had studied ancient artifacts from Greece and was enthused enough by his friend, the artist Benjamin Haydon, to draw one of these antique vases. And we will continue with the ode next time, focusing on the themes.